572-0383 or 572-0215. REV-UP St. Lucia, the alpha of radio.
Join Dr. Leonard Surage on REV-UP St. Lucia Tuesdays from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. for Doctor in the House. This 1-hour discussion call-in program delves into the science of various diseases, treatments and medical processes, and offers in-depth explanations to empower listeners and help ensure a better understanding of healthcare for all. So tune in on Tuesdays from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. for Doctor in the House with Dr. Leonard Surage, only on REV-UP St. Lucia. Doctor in the House, brought to you the compliments of Laplace Salazar, Janou, Cooperative Credit Union, and Tapio Hospital.
At Tapio Hospital, we operate a 24-hour emergency service for all your urgent healthcare needs. Our qualified medical specialist will be on hand to ensure that you receive the best of care. Call us at 459-2617. Tapio Hospital, where the patient's safety comes first.
In the heart of St. Lucia, where mountains meet the sea, there's a story of resilience, community, and a promise kept for over 50 years. Janou Credit Union has been a pillar of support and a friend. Together, we've weathered storms and celebrated triumphs, from sponsoring local events to supporting education. Our motto, together we can move mountains, isn't just words. It's a commitment to unity, progress, and shared success. Feel the pride, the belonging, and the warmth of a financial partner that cares. Join us and be part of something extraordinary.
It's delicious.
Laplace Salazar is the true home of quality meat and deli products, selected and priced to suit every palate and pocket. We sell all cuts of meat, poultry and fish, from tasty lamb necks and succulent pork chops to lean dolphin and juicy top round steaks. Our deli items include turkey, ham, bacon, pork sausages, meat patties, chicken nuggets, deli ham and eggs, so that breakfast or that party is a breeze. And for your added convenience, we sell restaurant essentials and grocery items. So where's your next meal coming from? Laplace Salazar, of course. Laplace Salazar, Castries, Groselet, Beaufort, and Soufrière.
It's delicious.
It's now time for Doctor in the House, live on REV-UP St. Lucia, 95.9 FM, with Dr. Leonard Surage. Dr. Surage, a very good evening to you. Always a pleasure seeing you again.
Good evening, Andre. Good evening. Thanks for having me. And
welcome.
I have to say good evening to our listeners, our viewers and followers locally and from far away. Last week, I wished everybody a Happy New Year and health, wealth, and whatever that goes with it. And I began asking you about what have you done in terms of planning forward in the new year. Do you have any particular plan for the year as the new year starts? Now is the best time to begin to make decisions. Otherwise, the year will just run by and you're exactly where you were before, and nothing has happened. So in all your plans, you may have finance plans, you may have marriage plans, social plans, you may have career aspirations, but do you have a health plan? Do you have a health plan? And the last week we began talking about how to keep healthy, and I couldn't leave that topic hanging because there were many loose ends I wanted to discuss. And this time, today, I'll be talking about the metabolic syndrome. It's something we touched on last week, but we never really went into detail. It's something, because it is new knowledge, new thinking, I would have to go very slow with it. Right? So, metabolic syndrome. Metabolism means breaking down of tissue and building up, building up. Because metabolism has two parts: anabolism, building up, and catabolism, breaking down. So there's a dynamic relationship between these two things. So metabolism, you think of breaking down tissues and building up new tissues. Syndrome, a syndrome is a series of few signs and conditions that is indicative of a particular illness, but in itself, it's not an illness. So I know I'm still having you imagining what I'm going to say, but metabolic syndrome is almost like the perfect storm. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, put them together, it causes a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit of what I'm talking about is, say, the syndrome is, what they say is that if you have, there are about 5 elements. 4 of them, yeah. First of all, you look at somebody and you see they have a pot belly. Very common. It's estimated that in some cultures, 1 to every 3 person would have some degree of that. And generally speaking, if your waistline is more than 40, and you don't measure it any way you want to measure it, you measure it at the navel to go at the top of the hips. Measure there. And if you're measuring 40, it means that you have more fat in your belly than you should. And so the belly protrudes forward, and so if you have this, and if you have a high level of cholesterol, the bad cholesterol called triglyceride, number 2. Number 3, if you have the low level of the good cholesterol that cleans the bad one.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a low amount of this, called low density hypoprotein. So, and if you have high blood pressure, these 4, when they combine, is a disaster. But if you have only one, say you only have high triglycerides or high bad cholesterol, it means that you are at risk, but you don't really have the problem yet. Any one of them is a risk factor, but the 4 combined give you the problem. And it's not a disease in the sense that it is a single disease, it just causes a lot of problem.
So, if I understand you correctly, Dr. Surage, the metabolic syndrome?
Metabolic syndrome.
Right. So you're saying the metabolic syndrome is not an illness?
No.
In and of itself?
Right.
But there's certain...
Yeah, there are many things, there are a few things that if you have them, you can be considered as having the metabolic syndrome.
And you mentioned the high blood pressure.
If you have a high waistline.
Over 40 inches, you said?
40 inches or more.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a pot belly, if your bad cholesterol is high, if your good cholesterol is low, and if you have high blood sugar and high blood pressure.
Oh, okay.
That's a 5. High sugar, high pressure, low good cholesterol, high bad cholesterol, and a pot belly. Now, that in itself, what it does, it makes it easier for you to get other problems. When you have that combination, if you're carrying these with you, the chances of you getting a heart attack is higher. The chances of getting a stroke is higher. The chance of getting sleep apnea is higher. And later on, I will tell you how important sleep is for your health. I may have touched it in other times, but so that is what the metabolic syndrome is all about. So generally speaking, we say that in adults, to every 3 adults, 1 may be in that range. We don't have the figures for St. Lucia, and if they do, I'm not aware of it. But these are North American figures. But it would be nice if we can carry out some research with these parameters and maybe find out what is the impact. Now, when you talk about health and planning forward for health, these are the kind of information you need to develop policies on health.
Let me ask you a quick question.
Yep.
These signs, if you will, that form the metabolic syndrome, aren't these normal and natural things which occur over a period of time? In other words, as we age, is it natural for us to have the high blood pressure, high blood sugar, the high bad cholesterol, and the waistline? Is this something that's inevitable because of age?
That is a very good question, sir, I must say. It is good in the sense that it brings out a thinking or an expectation that as you go older or as you age, your teeth will start falling off, your belly will get bigger, you'll get high blood pressure, you'll get diabetes, and you may get a stroke or this or that. But all these are preventable. You don't have to have it. There are other cultures that don't have as much as we do. It is our social pattern, our lifestyle, our eating style, the way we conduct ourselves, our scarce attention to health issues, and our using competing effort in other areas that sidetrack you from the real health issues you have. So you may have a health issue, say you may have a thyroid problem, and then you decide, well, I'm going to do this, that, I'll take alternative medicine of some sort, and run into problem. But the thing is that you should pay more attention to your health issues. And that's why I said from the very beginning, do you have a health plan?
So let me ask you a cousin question to the first one I asked you. Would you agree that there are some issues, right, which come naturally with age? For example, your vision.
Yeah. There are some issues that come naturally with age. One is, as you said, your vision, cataracts. You'll find past 40, by the time you reach 40, you find that your eyes don't accommodate so well. So you have to put, if you're looking at, say, something, a drawing or a newspaper, I hasten to say newspaper because we don't read. And there are no newspapers that are floating around. Unlike Barbados, that have about more than one daily papers. So if you're looking at a picture or anything, you have to pull it further than the normal 10-inch you require. And that's number one. Number two, when you're driving, the light of the oncoming vehicle scatters the rays that can blind you. That's the effect of cataract. That goes with aging. And it is actually accentuated by poor lifestyle, like high sugar and that kind of thing. So these are accentuated by that. So many of the things that we have, the high blood pressure. In fact, today I almost got to work late because I was watching a program on how can you reverse high blood pressure. And it's amazing what the information is saying, that if you have a healthy lifestyle, you can delay or retard any of these age-related things that we talk about.
So if I understand you correctly, say, for example, the issue of one's vision, because it is believed that after age 40, that's what the oncologists normally say. Once you pass age 40, your sight begins to deteriorate, right? So you're saying, albeit that may be a fact, but if we have those things that form the metabolic syndrome, that can negatively impact one's vision and all those, make it even worse, right?
For example, the high blood pressure.
Right.
The high blood pressure.
And diabetes.
I'm just taking the high blood pressure to its conclusion. The pressure is high when you measure it in your arm. So it may be 150 over 80, which is a high pressure, or over 90, which is high, because we aim at either 120 over 70 or 130 over 80. That is a limit that they aim at. But if you have high pressure, the pressure in your arm, by the time the vein, the artery, which carries the pressure, gets to your eye, it's maybe just 1 or 2 millimeters pressure, from 150 to about 3 in the back of your eye. And that pressure is high enough to create a leakage of the veins and begin to cause problem with the back of the eye. And then you get various type of macular degeneration or other kind of issues with the eye. I'm not an eye specialist. I don't really want to get into the details of that. But diseases like high blood pressure and diabetes, because the high sugar also affect the retina and affect other things. So these can accentuate or worsen the problem. If you had a good lifestyle, heavy lifestyle, you can live up to quite a old age, 80, 90, and don't have as much issues
with your sight, for example.
Yeah. And also the airs.
Oh yes, that's another one.
If you're exposed to loud noise, exposed to unprotected loud noise over a long period of time, whether it's at work, whether it's at play, whether it is recreational, it will have a toll on you. And you may end up hearing it long before your natural process takes it. And even natural has an element of genetics to it. So if your parents had issues or diabetes or whichever, you're more likely to get it.
Yes.
So being more likely to get it and getting it are two separate things, because there are some people in some cultures that I know who tell you, my father or my mother had diabetes, so I have to be careful. I don't want to get there, so I am being very meticulous about what I eat, when I eat, exercise, keep fit, everything, to avoid the manifestation of that genetically predisposed issue. So, but what I'm hearing here is in St. Lucia is that, my parents have it, so I will have it. So they do not take the precaution. They either they don't understand it well enough, and that's the purpose of these talks, so that people can understand why they have the things they have. And a lot of it has to be cultural, habits, bad eating what you feel like. For example, let's talk about part of the metabolic syndrome, say high sugar. So when you have your meal, you may decide to have a lot of white bread, red meat, and the usual thing, lots of that, and then you have a soft drink to chase your food down with. So you're building
a few of them.
A few of them. So,
I spoke with a guy one time. He told me he had 13 soft drinks a day.
13?
13.
What?
Yes.
That's a lot of sugar. Because the
and
soft
of course,
drinks have a lot of sugar.
he ended up in a lot of problems.
Yeah, so the high sugar, I'm just trying to explain to you one thing, and that is I'm trying to get to insulin resistance. Insulin resistant. But I'm getting there by giving you the scenario. So you eat a lot of highly sugared stuff, and then your blood sugar, the sugar in your blood, because when you eat it, it goes in your stomach, and the stomach begin to absorb it into the blood. It goes in the intestine, and they absorb it more. So almost everything is absorbed into the blood. So say about an hour after you eat, the blood sugar level is so high because of what you have eaten. So now for the sugar in the blood, all the tissues like the muscle use sugar for it to function. The heart use sugar for it to contract, because it's contracting all the time. You don't know, but millions of times. And the brain need to work. All that requires sugar. The muscle need to pump sugar. So when that sugar is overwhelming, the sugar ends up from your stomach into the blood, into the pancreas. Do you know what a pancreas is? No? Yes? No? Well, if you don't, I'll tell you.
You talking about me?
Yeah.
in my belly.
Right. So it is what the people who have seen animal being killed, they call the lawat.
Lawat, yeah.
But it is, the pancreas has two functions. One is to produce enzyme to melt the food, like digestive enzymes. The other is to produce insulin. There is a particular cell or a bit of tissue in the head of the pancreas called the islets of Langerhans. Mr. Langerhans, whoever he was, found out that is what makes insulin. So when the sugar leaves your blood, passes through the pancreas, it tells the pancreas says, this guy have high sugar in his blood. Let me put out insulin. So it puts out insulin. Why insulin? because insulin is like the key that will allow sugar to go in the tissues. Most times, you need that gate to open.
So why is that important? Sorry to disturb. Why is it important for the sugar to go into the tissue? Why?
Because that is how the tissue uses it, and for its daily, all the function, all the cells that are functioning requires sugar, because it's just like a car needs gas.
Okay.
And why insulin? Because insulin is the only messenger that it's almost like somebody in a boat taking you from here, putting you to the other place. So insulin is the carrier for sugar to be, glucose to enter into the cell for it to function. The good thing is that the muscle does not really require insulin. That's the only tissue that can actually function even without insulin. Sugar can go in the muscle. And so now when there is an overabundance of sugar, it actually causes the insulin not to function. So you get what they call insulin resistance. So the insulin is there, but it's not opening the gate. And so sugar pile up in your body. The sugar spill into the urine.
So you're saying there's too much in the body?
Yeah.
Too much sugar?
When the sugar overwhelms the system,
so it doesn't open.
Insulin doesn't open. Insulin, the analogy is a lock and a key. The key has gotten rusty. It's not opening the gate again. So, and it's important to understand that, because we have been looking at sugar and not looking at insulin. So insulin is the same insulin, not any different. Same insulin, they give people injection, this and that, because when the pancreas can no longer produce insulin, then it is no use to give you the tablet for your diabetes, because the diabetes tablet will go, you swallow it, it go in your system, go in the blood, go to the pancreas, and jumpstart the pancreas to produce more insulin. Now, if these cells have been worn out, have been completely used, have been burnt out, then no matter how much tablet you take, insulin not manufacturing. It's good to understand that, because I have a lot of people who are diabetics and still don't understand why they cannot take the tablet anymore. They have to go on the insulin. They still don't understand that. And no matter how much, I don't know if it's they don't believe it, they don't understand it, or that they don't think it works.
So, just to ensure that we understand it. So, you're saying due to the constant amounts, the heavy amounts of sugar
in the blood.
What is it? After a while, as you said, they're the key, which is supposed to open the
gate for the gate in the cell for the sugar to enter.
Right.
Because the sugar can be in the bloodstream, but not in the cell that needs it to function.
And you're saying it's important that the sugar or energy or whatever you want to call it, it's important to get into the tissues, because the tissues
is what uses it.
Right.
Because if you
and to do what, Dr. Surage? What are the tissues doing?
Okay, right. So, for example, you have an infection. Say you have a flu, and as soon as the bacteria, the virus hits you, or the bacteria hits you, it begins to attack the body. Immediately, the white cells begin to find where that infection is and begin to fight the bacteria. And it fights the bacteria and engulfs. There are many ways of doing it. It engulfs the bacteria and begin to create substance that will toxic to the bacteria. It needs energy to do that.
Okay, so this is really super important then.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, because this is what, as you said, apparently what you're saying is that the body needs the energy, well, the sugar, or you want to call it, that goes into the tissue so it can fight off infections and so on. Right. And if that's been starved, I mean,
that's
you're
right.
really vulnerable.
In fact, I'm just remembering as I was listening to you, that when I was in medical school, some people say diabetes is the starvation of the cells in the midst of plenty.
Wow.
So although there is a lot of sugar floating around, but it's not getting to the cell that needs it to function.
So let me ask you, people who are diabetic, their resistance to fighting infections and so on has been diminished?
Yes, there is the diabetic status also. The cells that are involved in the different type of fight. There are some cells for allergy. There are some cells for viral infection. There are some cells for bacterial infection. All these, they are more lethargic in the presence of the diabetic. Not only diabetes, but high sugar levels.
So I have another good question for you then. So if that be the case, explain to us how, when you get the insulin
injection,
right, intravenously or whatever we want to call it, if the cell or the tissue is locked, where does this insulin? Because if we take it artificially, where does it go to?
The insulin will go. It will help. That is, you give insulin not when there is a superabundance of insulin. When you need more insulin, you give it, and you're supposed to make the sugar gets into the blood, right? So you're asking if the insulin that
you take artificially, right? Because remember, it's rigid. You said the door is locked.
Yeah,
the key can't open it.
That's right.
So when you take the insulin artificially, or intravenously, where does it go to? Because you said the tissue needs it. That's what you're saying.
Well, if they discover your sugar is high, the insulin will work. But what I'm talking is the recurrent high level of sugar will overwhelm the insulin. But this does not last forever. In other words, it's not a rust that is irreversible. When after a time the sugar level will go down and it will work again.
Oh, okay. Now I understand what you're saying.
So that's why they're saying that in that case, do exercise. Try and bring down the sugar.
Yeah, that's why I guess now we're understanding why a nurse or a doctor would say take a piece of mango.
Yeah.
Yeah, because as long as you have this high intake of sugar, albeit even good sugar from from fruits and so on, it's just not good for the person who is in that particular situation. Yes.
Yeah, and it's important for them to understand that, and because people have varying habits, and sometimes they don't believe in what we are saying, and sometimes they run into a lot of problems. So the insulin resistance is an important thing, and I'm always wondering why is it we don't request insulin testing. For example, when you do your blood sugar, I don't recall them asking you, while you're doing the test, do insulin. I'm not sure if the insulin...
So that can be done? That can be done?
From what I'm reading, yes. It should be able to be done to do the insulin test. But that is not the usual... These are very new kind of thinking.
Yes. So, Dr. Surage, I mean, is this the way the Creator made our bodies, that we're not supposed to have so much sugar and so on? What's going on?
I think if you believe in, I would not even say evolution, I would say in the transitioning, you find that even in our lifestyle, the younger generation, the older generation used to work harder. Physically, they work harder. They did not have that kind of health care to take care of their teeth, to take care of different things. There were no clinics, are not so available. So you find that they would have deteriorated in some areas that they shouldn't. At the same time, physically, they are tough. And it seems as though the body is intended to take far more of the physical endurance than we are putting it through.
So you're saying, what? Are you saying if we were working doing physical, more demanding work that requires maybe the use of your hands, your muscles, and something. Even if you take a lot, is that what you say? A lot of sugar, the body would be able to manage it.
Yeah, because the body will use the sugar.
Okay.
The sugar you have, if you do if you put the body to the task, it will.
Well, Dr. Surage, just last week when we finished our program, you were telling me, and you're not the only one, quite a few of my friends have said those things to me before. The distance, for example, that they had to walk to get to school, for example.
Yeah.
And you were telling me.
Yeah, that's right, from Bellevue go to Grace. I don't know, it's about 5 miles or so.
Wow, and that was like 5 days a week?
Yeah, 5 days a week.
So after you walk to school, you have to walk back home?
Of course, there was no bus, nothing.
Yeah.
To school.
A few of my friends have told me where they lived and where they had to go to school, and there were no buses. Also, people have told me that maybe they were working on the morn. Okay, maybe at Government House or something like that, and they lived up in Grosley and they had to walk. That's amazing. Because there's a lady friend of mine, she's deceased now, and she told me, well, she used to go to sleep at you won't believe this, Dr. Surage, she goes to sleep at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Yes, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and she falls asleep, and that was a habit that she had because of the distance that she had to walk. So she had to get up early to leave her home and to get to her destination. So the habit of sleeping early was sort of like throughout her entire life.
Because you have to get up fresh in the morning.
Exactly, and it's a long distance. You have to walk quite a bit. Today now, we have minibuses all over the place. There's some people, you ever notice that? The bus, say for example, the bus stops just maybe a few yards from their home. They would stay on the bus there, until the bus gets to exactly where the stop
and
is.
even people going and shop in town, where you're going to shop, if it's not next to where you're going to stop, as if you can't do that. The bus, car park we have by Gable there is too far for many people.
Yes, the vehicle, if they can't get a spot close to the supermarket itself, they just leave.
But the good news...
So that's very interesting, Dr. Surage.
Yeah, the good news is that people who have high insulin, you can have an idea, because those who have pot belly, you can obviously see that the body is, the middle part is a little, is wider. So you can see a pot belly, you don't have to describe that. But these people tend to get tired faster, maybe because of the extra weight they are carrying. And it is also said that the skin around the armpits or in creases area tend to get darker. They said that's associated with high insulin. And of course, if you have diabetes, urination and thirst will come into it. But I also want to give you some good news.
But before you get to the good news, we have to take a break.
Okay, sure.
Yes, we'll take a break. So, Dr. Surage, when we come back, it'll be a good time to invite our listeners and viewers to call in.
Sure.
Okay? We'll get the numbers when we come back. All right, you're listening to and viewing live on REV-UP St. Lucia 95.9 FM, Doctor in the House with Dr. Leonard Surage, brought to you the compliments of La Place Salaison, Jeune Cooperative Credit Union, and Tapia Hospital.
At Tapia Hospital, caring and competent obstetric consultants who will see you safely from prenatal care through delivery with a team of excellent pediatric and anesthetic support. Tapia Hospital, where the patient safety comes first.
In the heart of St. Lucia, where mountains meet the sea, there's a story of resilience, community, and a promise kept for over 50 years. Jeune Credit Union has been a pillar of support and a friend. Together, we've weathered storms and celebrated triumphs, from sponsoring local events to supporting education. Our motto, together we can move mountains, isn't just words. It's a commitment to unity, progress, and shared success. Feel the pride, the belonging, and the warmth of a financial partner that cares. Join us and be part of something extraordinary.
It's delicious.
Love Plaza Lezor is the true home of quality meat and deli products, selected and priced to suit every palate and pocket. We sell all cuts of meat, poultry and fish, from tasty lamb necks and succulent pork chops to lean dolphin and juicy top round steaks. Our deli items include turkey, ham, bacon, pork sausages, meat patties, chicken nuggets, deli ham and eggs, so that breakfast or that party is a breeze. And for your added convenience, we sell restaurant essentials and grocery items. So where's your next meal coming from? La Plaza Lezor, of course. La Plaza Lezor, Castries, Groselet, Beaufort, and Soufrière.
It's delicious.
This is Doctor in the House live on REV-UP St. Lucia 95.9 FM, hosted by Dr. Leonard Surage. Dr. Surage, welcome back. And you're talking about the good news.
Yeah, thank you very much, Andre. And listeners, the topic is getting a little hot, and myself and Andre has been hugging the show, so we'd like you to participate. So you can, if you have any information, ideas, or any ideas to share with us, then you can call us on the fixed line 572-9710, 572-9710, or you can shoot a WhatsApp message 287-0971, 287-0971.
Wonderful.
Now for the good news. The good news is that the metabolic syndrome is reversible. You can reverse it. And how do you go about...
No matter how far you've gone already?
Yeah, you can always reverse it. And how you do that? You can begin to manage your metabolic syndrome. It is highly reversible. First of all, what they say, you have to move the body. You have to make the body move. You have to use your muscle to burn the sugar. Because if you have the sugar floating and you use your muscle, you'll burn it.
Mm-hmm.
And when it is burned and there is not so much sugar, the insulin is more responsive to it. It's not overflooded. Okay? And for example, the general thinking is try and give yourself about half an hour of walking every day. Just plain old simple walking. Because it exercises the big muscles, and the big muscles of your calf and your thigh, that burns a lot more energy. Yeah. So that is one thing. So try and to reverse your situation, try and lose some weight. The weight loss is extremely important. And the weight loss by medication and thing can only become a temporary fix, but you need to get into an exercise routine. It is said that if you can lose 5% of your body mass, for example, if you're weighing 200 pounds and you can lose just about 10 pounds, then that's a good start. It makes a tremendous difference to your sleeping, to your other habits, and to your general health. And also, if you lose a little bit of weight, then you sleep much better. And sleep is extremely important. Sleep is not only about snoring and resting. It actually makes the tissues work better. All the tissues of your body begin to work better.
Hold that thought because you have a call, Dr. Surage.
Hello.
So please hold that thought.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening, Andre. Good evening, Dr. Surage.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening to you. Thanks for calling.
Yes,
Thanks for accepting my call.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Dr. Surage, nice topic. Great. Let me tell you, what is the difference between somebody tell you, I have the sugar and I have diabetes? What's the difference?
Diabetes is an elevated sugar in your body, in your blood. That's diabetes. And because of the elevated sugar, it causes a lot of other problems. But yes, you can have diabetes and manage it. And you have your blood sugars are fairly normal, combination of medication and exercise. You can live with that.
So when people say
you're diabetic, you may not have high sugar.
So when people say I have sugar, right? Don't you think they really mean, okay, all right, they've been diagnosed as being diabetic. I think that's what the gentleman is asking.
Yeah.
They've been diagnosed as being diabetic. So they say to you, I have sugar. So is that correct?
It means that they have sugar in their blood. And by sugar in the blood, excessive sugar in the blood, because you're supposed to be like between 60 and 100 milligrams per liter. Okay, that's the amount you're supposed to have. But if you have
one second, let him finish.
If you have in excess, rather than saying I have an excess of sugar in my blood, they say I have sugar.
Okay.
So I have sugar.
So technically, that's not correct, right?
Yeah, it indicates that the person is diabetic, but usually they mean they're diabetic.
That's right.
Yeah, but it does not mean the sugar level is high at that time when they're saying it.
Well, again, Dr. Surage, as you're saying earlier, we don't really understand those things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
because you hear it often, I have sugar.
Yeah, I have sugar means that I'm diabetic.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But you say that may not necessarily be so.
It may not necessarily be that your sugar is high. You say you've been diagnosed as being diabetic, and how you get diagnosed is because they would do your blood sugar and they find it is higher than normal. So they would say, maybe you just ate or you just drank something. So I want you to fast and come and do a blood sugar. So you fast for 8 hours, 6 hours or more overnight without eating or drinking anything. You do your blood sugar. If it is above the 100 mark,
in the fasted state,
say it is like 160, 200, then they say your sugar is elevated. And then they tell you, well, try some diet control and see. And if you still cannot manage that, then you can safely say that this person is diabetic because they are not able to produce enough insulin in the blood to bring down the sugar. So they have a problem. Either the pancreas is not producing enough or is not kick-started to do it or cannot produce. And there are some people who have autoimmune disease that damages the pancreas. So I'm not too sure. Yeah, caller.
Did that answer your question?
Have I answered your question?
And my next point is, Doc, I have a friend, more than one, and then he always walk. They always walk with like sweets in the pocket, and they say when the sugar high or the sugar low, they feel a kind of way they have to take a sweet. Or what's the purpose of that? The sweet,
right?
Or
good.
Sometimes they call for soft drinks. Or
that's a very good question.
On the radio.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
good night.
Yeah, that second part is when the sugar is high, normally, and you're being controlled, normally you take medication for the sugar. But the medication has to match the amount of effort activity. Because if your sugar in your blood is high and you're taking a medication and you go to do exercise and you do other things, you might bring your blood sugar too low. And that is why they need a sweet or something to boost it up. Because it takes a very short while. If your sugar is very low, it makes you feel faintish. It makes you feel like you want to collapse. You faint. But before that happens, you begin to feel it, that you're not feeling well, you're feeling oozy, dizzy, etc. If you have a sweet or a soft drink, within minutes, that get better. So for people who are on medication, and with a possibility that the sugar may get too low, they carry something.
And that would be for people who have what, low blood sugar?
Yeah.
They have
they don't have low blood sugar. They're diabetic and they're taking medication for their diabetes.
Oh, so sometimes
the medication, because the medication has to match the amount, the anticipated amount of sugar you will have. And if that day you didn't take breakfast, because the medication assumes you're going to have breakfast, assume the sugar will be 190.
I get you.
And it will bring it down for you.
We have another call.
Oh, hello. Good evening.
Hey,
good evening.
Dr. Surage, Happy New Year.
Thank you very much.
Same to you.
Same to you. I wish you all the best.
You got yours personally already. You say same to you. I didn't speak to you. I said Dr. Surage.
Okay. You see, he's jealous. He's jealous.
No. I'm your secretary.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
Good.
Dr. Surage. Dr. Surage.
I'm all ears. I'm listening to you.
Okay. I was not diagnosed with I was not diagnosed as a diabetic, but my test result was my A1C was a little higher than the normal reading of the A1C. So the doctor said that I was borderline.
Right.
So I'm not on any medications or anything like that. So I started doing the change of diet and thing. I've lost 14 pounds, but I not seen I lose 40. I'm not showing on my body. Trust me. I not see that I lose 14 pounds, but I the scale tells me that I lost 14 pounds. But the question I have for you is, usually I bought the sugar kit thing. So when I sometimes on mornings, that's the first thing, the fasting.
Yeah.
Every morning I'll get a different reading. Sometimes I'll get 104. That's fasting, and so I know that's a bit high. Sometimes 117, even 120 something on a fast. Yeah, 117.
Okay.
And even sometimes 120 something on the early morning fasting. But I was never diagnosed as diabetic, and I'm not on any medications or anything. So last month when I saw the doctor, she told me my A1C, my diabetes, that's the word she used, is stable. It has not gone up since the last time I did. Every time the A1C level has not gone up. So she have me at stable. But then I find that's alarming when I do the reading on mornings on my own. That it's always past the 100. Like I find it's just, and I've been doing a lot of changes to my diet. Well, the exercising, these days it's so cold up here, I don't really go out and walk, but I do what I can. And now, besides, I was diagnosed with sciatica, and then I have a lot of pain, so I can hardly do all my movements and all my exercises like I used to. And imagine, Dr. Surage, my mom actually died from high blood pressure, and I never in my life, I'm 56 years, ever had a high blood reading. Never the high pressure. But now I think it's because I've always had a large stomach, as now I learning from you that when you have these kinds of, however you call it, the syndrome, whatever,
metabolic syndrome.
That can easily cause you to have the high blood sugar and whatever. And I just wanted to say one more thing. Oh, God. Yeah, but I've been doing the fasting. When I listened to the program, I started the fasting when you spoke about it sometime last year. And I kind of was lapsing.
The intermittent fasting.
Yes, but I started it when I heard you last Tuesday. Now I did it now. It's about 6 days. I go non-stop, and I not see my belly go down yet, Dr. Surage. Not 1 inch.
But is the scale telling you you're losing weight?
She hung up.
Oh, the scale is telling her that, so she's losing weight. But I think the other thing, it's a pity she hung up, because I wanted to tell her that sometimes if you do your fasting blood sugar and it's 100, because the basic normal for fasting would have been about 60 to 100. If you're a few over that, I wouldn't lose sleep over that. Secondly, it may be the night before you had eaten a little differently and can bring it up a little higher. But the other thing I wanted to say also is that if you're not too sure if you're diabetic, the test you must do is what they call a 2-hour postprandial test. In other words, you come fasted, you do a blood sugar, and then you take a certain amount of, say you have your breakfast, a certain amount of calories you take in, and then you do your blood sugar every half hour for the next 2 hours to see how your body handles that sugar. There may be more sophisticated tests now because the internal medicine folks are very, very acute on that. And they may decide to check your insulin instead or whatever they're checking. But there's always room to do a test to see whether you're diabetic or you are prone to become diabetic or under stress, because some of these people are not diabetic, but when they have a child, they become diabetic gestationally, and maybe it reverts to normal afterwards. So there can be this stress-induced situation that can alter the sugar.
Okay, you have another call?
Another caller. Hello, good evening. Thank you for calling.
Good evening. Bonsoir, Setlisi. Bonsoir, Radio Land. Bonsoir, Doc.
Bonsoir. Comment est?
Moi, l'été, moi, vive.
Ok.
Et puis, moi, pas la jolle. Moi, libre.
Ah ouais. Ou libre.
Moi libre, oui.
Yeah. Bon, qui ça vous voulez dire aujourd'hui?
Oui, moi, avant moi continuer, moi vais remercier tout ça, moi paye et puis moi souhaite bonne année. As people would say in English, I would not tell you Happy New Year. I would say I wish you all the best. Moi souhaite tout bagay qui n'y a la vie puisque la vie a venu avec boy, avec mal, avec mal. So it comes with everything. So I will not tell you happy. I will tell you I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. That's very nice
yes,
of you.
Sir. And to continue the program, it is very educational and it's very all topic, all subject is very important. So let's move forward, Doc.
Thank you very much.
Cette lycée, quittez-moi prêcher par ti moment. Tout le monde ka jodi a moi tan nom, hier moi tan nom ka di, moi ka di en anglais moi fini. Moi tan nom ka di comme ça, ga ça les mo malade moi pas ka ouais docteur. Et qui ka di ça fort et moi même là ka tan ça. Moi dis comme ça bado bay ouais bay là pas pusher là sous ta radio ma ka même acheter puisque un radio bouze courant avec batterie il pas nan rien comme ça qui ka parler quoi so allez ça là moi dis comme ça pas dit c'est bay ça fort puisque là ni moun qui fait yo plus ignorant passer les mots ignorant puisque yo pas connaître l'on pas connaître bay c'est ignorant puisque Andrew me dit ça en anglais OK. Là il pas connaître bail ignorant il pas connaître ça y est so à l'aise là des monde qui pas connaître primaire yo ka tan ni nom là ka dit ça et puis yo ka penser couiller puis I would say that in English. Yesterday a gentleman was saying that when he's sick he doesn't go and see the doctor, he does use his own thing and I told him he mustn't say that so loud in the open to think that he's so correct. Allow the people to let the people go and see their doctor. If he doesn't want to, that's okay. But that is not something for you to preach in the open. And I had a little tete-a-tete with him. And I said to him, even the herbalist, even the doctor will tell you go and see a doctor. Okay? Because if you go and see a doctor, right? He or she prescribes some medication for you. But the doctor will tell you, well, if you have to take a little moringa to ease up the pressure to work along. They will not tell you no. But do not go out there and preach and think you are correct. And I'm going back on that basic. A lot of people believe and think in their own thick head that because they could eat or drink anything that they should. Dr. Surage, once you're not disciplined, you're in trouble.
Absolutely.
One thing I know about Dayglow, when they dump the garbage alone that's there. Garbage alone they bring there. So if you want to do that to your body, my brother, I don't think that's the best thing you should think about. Yeah. And you could hear the saying, but the fact is you dumping garbage on yourself. You are doing all the wrong things. You're not drinking adequate water, like the young boys and the young men on the block. A lot of bourbon, they smoke a lot because all of you smoke, it keeps your lips and your tongue dry. So you consume a lot of sugar. Bourbon, icicle, box juice. These people hardly drink water. Dr. Surage, I'm seeing it.
And Anthony, don't forget the lunch with the soft drink.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For
every
instance,
day.
Having lunch. Dr. Surage, you seen it even in the canteen when you go on your break. You actually seen it. The people having food and they having a soft drink.
That's right.
Every day.
Juice.
Every day.
And after your sugar, it will turn to insulin, as in you still have that. They eating a cake is a soft drink, is a juice. My goodness, what kind of bad practice is this? You imposing things on yourself. Mwakado se mona ki do la ki ka boire a chay bagay dou et puis ou pa ka même boire de l'eau. De lan si men un jour ka ale ou pa ka boire pièce de l'eau. Et puis ko jeune nom prostate la bouze de l'eau. Hein? Ou pas ka bay de l'eau. So à ça là l'on ka boire ti icicle bourbon et puis ti box juice bagay ça là. Ko yo ka di en anglais ça c'est refined food. Ça c'est sick qui pas bon pour presque tout si pas tout c'est Jia yo ka fait avec ces soft drink là, c'est sick blanc ni. Asi ça pas vrai. Presque c'est sick blanc. So à ça là, pas fait quoi dommage. Pas fait quoi. Puisque c'est ça ou ka fait tous les jours ka 6 là ou pas ka courir ou pas ka aller de gym ou pas ka faire pièce exercice l'on fini à ça là ou manger toutes ces bails ça y ka fait I ka pouyon di don. So ale sa la, ou pa ni pou fè kon se bagay sa la. St. Lucians we know better. Okay, and those that know better, this is why they have this program, okay, to tune in, okay, 95.9, okay. Don't forget it, because at the end of the day, you need this kind of lecture, because you cannot do it on your own. So this is a way of tapping in on that thing. You know, it's for free. You could call, okay, question the doctor, ask questions. He will guide you the best he can, and even give you, little examples. So St. Lucians, we could do better. So just don't stay there and say it's a new year. You know, there's something you need to do that's different, so that it could take you to a better way of thinking. There's a better way of living your life. Don't just stay there and suck your thumb like, Dr. Phil would say, and just feel that everything will be okay. And when your chassis is on the road, that is when you want to take actions. Don't do that. Okay? Young man like me, I don't have to drink things to go to bed. Okay? At the end of the day, it is what it is. I always say this, whatever food that you eat, it's supposed to be part of your medication, if not your medication. Because if not, one day, medication will become your food. Thank you.
Thank you,
Wonderful.
Anthony. Have a good night.
I'm happy that you were able to break it down to that level. Obviously, you are very talented. I can see that, and you are very clear in your mind. So I'm happy that you were able to put a different way of expressing it, and you have done a far better job than I could have done in Patwa. Thank you very much. And so let us look at the sleep. I wanted to cover one other area, and that is how sleep affects your health. For example, in terms of sleep affect your appetite. You'd find that when you sleep badly, because sleep is not only about rest, it actually stimulates all the different cells in your body. That is why if you go to sleep, if you go out exercising and you exercise very late, you find that the body takes a while to warm down, and it may not affect your sleep. So generally they say don't exercise within about 2 hours or so before you go to sleep, because the body is still on a rev and so forth. But in terms of sleep and appetite, sleep deprivation puts your appetite off balance. For example, listen carefully, there are two hormones that the body produces. One that is making you believe as if you are starving and make you eat and eat and eat. And another one that makes you feel full. The one that stimulates your appetite is called the ghrelin. It is called the hungry hormone. Okay? The ghrelin goes up when you are hungry, and it makes you believe as if you are starving. On the other hand, the leptin is toning down, making you believe, man, there is enough food, we don't have to worry, etc. So when you are eating, if you eat too fast, you may find that it might take 20 minutes after you are full for your body to say, I am full. And therefore you eat far more than you should have eaten. Mm-hmm. And of course, if you're under stress, you tend to eat out of stress and not out of hunger. And so you have to separate these. If you're going to try and lose weight, you have to combine that with some exercise, because the exercise will help all the tissues. It makes all the tissue metabolize faster. All your tissues are on a high when you're exercising. And so in terms of trying to reverse the effect of the metabolic syndrome, the weight loss is extremely important, and weight loss with exercise is even better. And judicious eating, for example, try not to eat the fatty stuff, and try to eat the lean meat as opposed to red meat, and a lot of water. Water is the universal language, and therefore you must drink a lot more water than you actually do. And also the soft drinks. It is so easy to to have the soft drinks and have one after you have breakfast, one after lunch. So you have to get the body into the habit of not expecting that.
We have a call, final call.
Okay. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Doctor. Thank you for accepting.
Yes, sir.
No problem.
No problem.
Yeah, the sleep. Yeah, I wanted to touch on the sleep. Doc, I have a question. You said no question is silly. Every question.
Yeah, I believe that every question is important. You must never look at somebody and tell them that they are silly.
Doc, when you look at us men and women, when women go to sleep, they normally cover the whole body. They have the nightie, even a long vest, whatever. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, they always have the nightie or long vest or clothes on them. But us men, when we go to sleep, sometimes we only have our little boxers on whatever. Our top is, we don't cover our top. Is that a healthy, a wise move?
Yeah, I think
for us
the
men
women's
to sleep without
temperature control is different.
Covering our top?
Yeah. Well, there are a few things. One,
I'll listen on the radio.
Yeah,
okay.
There is a period of menopause where the heat temperature and the perception of heat and cold tend to affect them. But generally, I have found that women tend to feel cooler than men. You're in a function somewhere, you'd have an extra stroll or an extra covering, and you don't need that. So I find generally they feel the cold faster than men do. It could be because of the hormone, because of the amount of heat that is produced. Whatever it is, there is a difference in terms of their ability, their comfort level. They would feel cool faster than a man would. And therefore, whereas, as you were saying, a man can just sleep with his boxer and maybe no shirt on, the lady usually want to be covered and tucked in. So that's a well-known fact. And it has to do with their physiology. Okay?
So it's a good time to summarize. And after you summarize, I have a question for you.
Right.
Yes.
Well, in summary, what I would say is that I was concentrating on the metabolic syndrome and remove all the mystery from it and try to make you understand high blood sugar and how it is arranged, how it occurs, and what you can do about it. And that also I wanted to remove the fear from these metabolic syndromes and the diabetes and the high blood pressure, and approach it sensibly and try and live with it rather than thinking that you've been struck with doom and gloom.
I think you said it can be reversed. Yes, I think that's important.
And the metabolic syndrome can be reversed if you take certain steps in terms of reducing your weight, try to do some exercise, and control your sugar, what you eat. And the sugar is not a good thing as you think it is. Everybody likes the taste of sugar, but do not try and get into the habit of not using so much sugar in your everyday activities. Right? So that's the lesson I want, because diabetes is here with us. It is here to stay. We have to work around it and try and control it, and don't let it control us.
Okay, so here comes my
question, sir.
Yes, my question. Before I'll preface my question with a little story. In my life, I've had some very, very interesting encounters. Things that happen along the way. I don't know if it is just pure luck or maybe it's divine intervention. I don't know what it is. But there's certain things that have happened to me in my life that changed my life drastically. Okay? It changed the course of my life to the point where it was almost miraculous. Okay? Now, I won't get into all these little details, but something happened to me concerning my future, decisions I would make that would change the course of my life, right? Certain encounters, I call them encounters. You didn't plan it, it just so happened. As I said, I don't know if that's divine intervention. I don't know if it's fate, if it's good luck, I don't know. But I want to ask you now, right? In terms of your evolution, where your lifestyle, you're healthy, the making these right health choices is concerned. Can you recall what that moment was that changed it for you in terms of you now saying, hey, you know something, I need to take my health seriously? Because I think that's the problem with a lot of us. We don't realize how important that is, right? And maybe we never had those, as I said a while ago, those encounters, something. Now, in your case, I'm just speculating. It could be the fact that you're a doctor, that you studied medicine and / issue of the body, how the body works, and foods and drink and so on. I don't know. So I'm just asking, what do you think is responsible for that change in your life? Because I know doctors, and I have to laugh, who don't really care too much about their health. I've met a few of them. I mean, you see them drinking, you see them smoking and so on. Although I must admit that's improved over the years, I must admit, right? So can you remember if there was anything in particular that happened in your life? Because I think maybe that's what a lot of us need. Something that comes your way.
Close encounter.
Yeah, close encounter.
That actually gives you a sense of...
an awakening.
Yeah,
to say, hey, right, stop what you're doing, make a 180-degree turn and do it another way. So can you recall what it is for you?
There was no single event. What I would say is that, like every year, when New Year comes in or when my birthday comes in, I do reflect on how I can improve myself. And as you grow older, death becomes more of a reality, and then you have to factor it into your equation. And I had one accident going from Beaufort to Castries, when the guy fell asleep and ran straight into me, and I saw this light coming in.
Wow.
And no matter how much I tried to escape, and the time is so short. And when you hear this tremendous bang, and then, because there is this brief moment when I did not know if I was going to survive or not. So the car was coming at me, trying to turn the corner, and just kept on. I just see that light on me and not moving. I swerve, get onto the curb, and it's still on me.
Wow.
And so when I heard the bang, I was not too sure if to expect life. And then I saw smoke all inside the car, and the siren blowing and everything. I thought the car had caught fire, but it was the bag that burst. And it sends a thing. And I said to myself, you see how easy it is to die? But fortunately, physically, I was driving a left-hand car, and everything happened on the left side.
Wow.
So I said, there must have been some divine intervention there.
So you're driving a left-hand drive car, and most of the damage was where you said on the left?
Right side.
On the right side. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
on the right side,
right.
because it's away from me.
Yes.
In other words, the fender, the bumper, and the wheel fly out on that side. And on my side, nothing happened. But there was a brief moment when the accident was over. I was scared of moving my feet because supposing I'm paralyzed. I don't know. So after that episode, I said that I think that death is a reality, and then you must not run away from it. You must put it in your equation. And I felt the best way to have the least amount of dragging and suffering is to be fit and healthy until you die.
Okay.
So the fitter you are, the fitter you are, unless you have some cancer or the other, the more likely you're going to live active life until.
And Dr. Surage, it's after these encounters that you're thirsty for knowledge. Yeah, you want to know how things work and how they don't work, what you can and cannot do, and this sort of thing, right? And that's when as I spoke about the encounters, things that happen along the way that just change your life
but
in a dramatic way.
There's another thing too, and that is that if you are a person who has an inquiring mind, you'd always try to make the best use of any situation that befall you. You look for the wisdom in it. Again, you said it could be divine intervention, but anything that happens to you, don't look at the worst side of it only.
Yes.
Look at the worst side and say, how can I benefit from that awkward situation? How can it improve me? How can it improve my life? In what way I can benefit? Could it be that the divine intervention is trying to steer me in a course? And if there was no divine intervention at all, but that thinking will put you on a better course.
Mm-hmm. And, just to add, there are some of us who go through those moments and we swear to ourselves, boy, you see me, I'm not going back down that road again, right?
Right, yeah.
Because maybe you're on your back or something, you're at the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's as you said, something bad happened, but there's a lesson to be learned in that experience. And then you make up your mind. You say, you know something, let me now do it differently. And you'll be surprised. There are a number of us, after we come back on our feet, right back into the same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
But
yes.
I, now that you mentioned that, over the holidays I visited a friend of a friend. I don't really know the person too well, but I went and high blood pressure, young man, didn't take it on too much, got a stroke, got better, didn't think much about it. Like you said, didn't learn from that, and developed another stroke again.
Wow.
And you wonder, you feel extremely sorry for the person, but you wonder, could there be a prevention element? And what I'm saying is precisely what you're saying. Why don't we use these encounters as a turning point in our life, where whether you believe in the Almighty or not, but at least use the opportunity and say, look, this has happened, maybe there is a reason. Let me see what wisdom I can get from it for you to make a about turn and begin to improve your life. Because everything is about trying to improve your life as you go on.
And as you keep saying, Dr. Surage, whether on air, off air, the greatest challenge, because you keep saying it, despite all the information that is being disseminated to the public, despite the fact that information is readily available on the thing that we love the most, the phone, we could go on, and for some reason the message is not taking root. And I think, so I don't know, because even with the close encounters, as we said, some of us still don't get it. Even if we get the message, we say, you know something, I'm going to shit. I know a guy. I remember he was at the hospital. He had lost I think one toe. He had lost one toe because of diabetes. And I went to see him, and he said to me, Andre boy, as soon as I get out of here, I'm making the changes. Right? I saw him on the hospital bed. For the first time, I saw him reading a Bible. And he said, boy, when I get out there, I'm making those changes. Right? Okay, he got out. Okay, and not long after, he just went back living the same old way again. So then he lost the entire limb.
Okay.
Yeah, lost the entire limb because he didn't make the changes. He said he would.
Yeah.
So it's, as we keep saying, it's so difficult to change.
So in the same way, they have we have Alcoholic Anonymous for people who are alcoholics and want to leave. We can have support groups in people who really want to make a change, but when you want to make some behavioral changes, modification of behavior, you do not create the situation that entice you to do it and stay in the environment. You have to change the environment as well. Do not, for example, that person, as well-meaning as he may be, if he had remained in the same situation, his resistance would have dropped and he'd go back to the same place. But if he had said, look, I will not go in this environment, let me create a new environment, a new set of friends, a new set of things, so that I don't have to go and hang out with them, that may have changed.
Yes. And by the way, he passed.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Very young guy. Very young guy. So, okay, Dr. Surage.
Thank you very much, sir. And listeners, thank you very much for listening and putting up with us. And next week I'll be here again. So until such time, have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Dr. Surage, as always, for your service.
Thank you.
You've been listening to and viewing on Facebook, YouTube, and X, Doctor in the House, live on REV-UP St. Lucia 95.9 FM. So as Dr. Surage said, you can join him again next week, Tuesday, same time, from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. for another Doctor in the House, brought to you with the compliments of La Place Salaison, Janou Cooperative Credit Union, and Tapio Hospital.
Tapio Hospital Radiology Department offers 24-hour service. We provide you with X-ray, CT scans, and ultrasound imaging using the most modern equipment that produces the best images for your medical attention. Call the Radiology Unit at 459-2201. Tapio Hospital, where the patient safety comes first.
In the heart of St. Lucia, where mountains meet the sea, there's a story of resilience, community, and a promise kept for over 50 years. Jeune Credit Union has been a pillar of support and a friend. Together, we've weathered storms and celebrated triumphs, from sponsoring local events to supporting education. Our motto, together we can move mountains, isn't just words. It's a commitment to unity, progress, and shared success. Feel the pride, the belonging, and the warmth of a financial partner that cares. Join us and be part of something extraordinary.
It's delicious.
La Place Salaison is the true home of quality meat and deli products, selected and priced to suit every palate and pocket. We sell all cuts of meat, poultry and fish, from tasty lamb necks and succulent pork chops to lean dolphin and juicy top round steaks. Our deli items include turkey, ham, bacon, pork sausages, meat patties, chicken nuggets, deli ham and eggs, so that breakfast or that party is a breeze. And for your added convenience, we sell restaurant essentials and grocery items. So where's your next meal coming from? La Place Salaison, of course. La Place Salaison, Castries, Groselet, Beaufort, and Soufrière.
It's delicious.
REV-UP St. Lucia is located at Unit 4, Gablewoods Mall, Sunny Acres, Castries, St. Lucia. Tune in on 95.9 FM or online at REVUPSLU.com. Call the studio